This week, NFL free agency hot start. Cheap quarterbacks are all the rage. Arkansas, one-star bump. Dill pickle soup. Offensive hats and Rip reacts. It's a great show. Enjoy.
It's throwback season on 500level.com. Tons of awesome throwback t-shirts of former one-star guests can be had right now. We're talking Warren Moon, Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare, our guy Jim McMahon, all former one-star guests. Great shirts on 500level.com. They got mystery shirts for $10. Use the discount code DK and RIP at checkout for 20% off everything on the site. That's DKANDRIP. 500level.com. Let's go.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast brought to you by 500level.com. Checking in at 184 pounds. Had a couple bad days, Rip, last week. Had a couple bad days, man. I'm back in the eating game. And it was two bad days in particular. One really awful run. I got to get it off my chest early, actually. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I'm just thinking, you made me think of Justin Fields, who I believe is in Dubai right now, celebrating his $40 million deal at some kind of crazy restaurant, eating about 30,000 calories. Did you sign a new deal? Why are you eating so much last week?
No new deal, but new environment. Like in Dubai, I would be grubbing too. I watch all the YouTube shorts, and somehow Dubai got into my Instagram short algorithm. Holy shit, bro. I mean, they know how to do pizza. They know how to do a lot of I think they've taken the best of everything in Dubai, at least according to my YouTube shorts research, and they've plopped it in one place. Seems to be an elevated Vegas from my recent stance. Congratulations to our guy, Justin Fields. Can't believe we're congratulating him and he's getting this kind of money. What a world. NFL free agency. It's been hot. But back to my food and my situation. It was last Wednesday. It was just a bad run. It was a bad Wednesday for me. It started off as a great time. I do my tennis lessons on Wednesday, so I did that tennis lesson. It was over at like 2. I had some time. Went to Trader Joe's. I actually bought healthy food along the way here. On the way to the tennis lesson, though, I didn't want to get too dizzy, so I was like, let me go to Einstein's. Okay, Einstein's is like super suburbia, very mid-level bagel. If you know, you know. Some people love it. I love it. I don't care. I'm not ashamed. But I got an Einstein's bagel with regular cream cheese, light spread, and an orange juice. They have great orange juice there as well. So I started there, did my lesson, went shopping. In the shopping complex, though, I knew there's a couple things, and I didn't want to go home and eat the food that I got. I don't like that. Are you that type of guy? You'll go to the grocery store and then go right home and eat the food you have, or maybe you do a stop in between. What's your normal?
I like the nonstop trips direct from the grocery store to my kitchen, and then I'll probably be done with whatever I bought within like the next 30 to 45 minutes.
What if you have hungry kids in the car? You'll still fight through, muscle through?
Yeah, we'll get home because there's no place like home for snacks that they know and love, and food that you just bought. I think an extra stop just kind of complicates things.
Better self-control, better parent, better human than I am. So did that. So have food. I'm not super hungry, but I just did a little tennis playing. So I'm a little bit. So in the complex, nevertheless, so I did Einstein's bagel. In the complex is a Jimmy John's, which I have the app for, and it's a really good app, quick and easy. Have my favorite. Boom, 7 minutes. But then I'm sitting in the fucking parking lot, Rip. There's an Arby's in there. And I'm like, maybe I didn't get the meal and the drink at Jimmy John's. I just got a sandwich and I got a slim. That's the half meat, half cheese slim at Jimmy John's. So I was like, I haven't been to Arby's in 6 years. Okay. Let me just go get one beef and cheddar and a small Diet Coke. So I did that. Beef and cheddar, Diet Coke, all good. Take that, come home, eat. I got some Trader Joe's snacks. I don't want to mention, but I ate some of those. Wifey gets home. She wants to hit Five Guys burgers, and I do regular cheeseburger. Pretty disastrous day, though, huh? That quite a run. So let me just go ahead one more time. Einstein's into Jimmy John's, into Arby's, with a wrap up at Five Guys. That's wild.
Sounds like the equivalent of falling off the wagon. I mean, you were in such good shape in Hawaii, and in the last 3 months, it's kind of been going
Dude,
downhill. And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. You might be over 200 next week at this rate.
I'm up to 184. It was the thing is I didn't order like crazy at these places and I didn't get huge normal things. But yeah, I got to watch my shit, dude. That was just a normal flow of life. That was not me looking for it. I will say my DoorDash orders have gotten disastrous lately. I'm up to like 2 to 3 DoorDash orders a week, which is too much. You DoorDashing at all? You doing any Uber Eats to the crib?
I'm still old school, man. I'm still a call order over the phone, possibly online, and go pick it up myself. I'm
Whoa,
saving the $10.
that's kind of crazy. That's rare. That's a little rare, more rare, especially when the weather's shitty or things are going on. It's become so easy. Rip, that's a rare thing that you do. I think about doing that. My my internal like gut instincts want to do that, but I'm paying the $6.99. It's like you add $15 to your order, pretty much. Yeah, I gotta watch myself. It's addict behavior and it's all accessible. That's the problem. I gotta make the right choice. The choice is to get my food, come on home, eat my feta greens salad and enchiladas from TJ's. By the way, best thing at Trader Joe's I've found recently has been the pesto there. I don't know if you're a pesto guy, Rip. No peanuts in there, so you can do pesto. Pesto, add a little bit of cream and a little bit of garlic, just with some pasta, some chicken for some protein. There you go. Trader Joe's run. Been great. Dude, first things first. NFL free agency. It was very fun. It was very fast. We love fast this day and age. Twitter actually went down. X went down, got hacked for about an hour throughout the process. Not an hour, maybe it was 30 minutes. I don't know. I checked once and I couldn't get through, but it didn't bother me because you're getting updates in other ways. Our text message chains were on fire. Things were happening. It was fun. Small problem. It's kind of that Luka trade, that Mavs Laker trade, Rip, kind of was like an overload. And I needed like I need a trade like to go to rehab a little bit, you know? Too much dopamine in this world that none of these hit as hard as they have in the past, is my point. In the past, without that Luka trade, I think these are even bigger deals. The money's significant. Teams are really making moves to get younger with the best athletes in the game. And we'll talk about these old guys are still available. We're seeing the shift in the league and teams spending this money. But dude, after that Luka Davis trade, it's hard to feel as much, Rip. Am I right? I love the NFL. The NFL does a great job. And it was another hand clap, another successful free agency day for them. But it didn't feel as much, Rip. You know what I mean? Am I a trade junkie now who's had just too much after this Lakers Mavs shit? I just will never be able to feel again. Trades will never feel the same as they once did.
I mean, if Geno Smith to the Raiders and Sam Darnold to the Seahawks doesn't get your heart pumping, I don't know what does. But yeah, there's a hidden. I like the transition from eating about 30,000 calories into talking about Luka because that's what he's doing in LA, as we always talk about. But yeah, you're right, man. I mean, that trade kind of broke down everything over the last month, broke the internet, and yeah, NFL free agency just hasn't had the same pizzazz it has in past years, and maybe it's because of the lack of big names or the old guys, really.
Rip, that trade will go down as I think the most shocking and biggest trade in our lifetime. I really think so. I know there's never been a bigger one that I can think of. People might Herschel Walker. You got one? Anything come to mind? Charles Barkley to the Suns? Nobody's ever got a haul like this that was this big and kind of disparaging. Anyway, I want to feel again. And the NFL helps feel a little bit. Sam Darnold, $100 million. Our guy, Sammy D, dude, straight from Newport Beach, California. $100 million to the Seahawks. It's a situation I think, Rip, that could fail very fast and very hard. Although expectations are pretty high with the new coach, Coach McDonald, up there. So what do you think? Samuel A. Donald, once again, of Newport Beach. You like Seattle to succeed.
Didn't this happen a few years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago with Matt Flynn from the Packers? Had a few good games and got like $50 million from the Seahawks. Never heard from him again.
Ooh, very Matt Flynn vibes. Nice.
Seattle's doing that. I mean, to me, this is like this brings, now that DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are both gone, we got our guy JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba up there as basically the only weapon on offense. So I'm picking him in the second round of fantasy drafts this year. You could play the tape back, but that guy is going to have a monster year.
They're gonna have to draft right for him. They need defensive line help there. This has got your guy Clint Kubiak. He has his hands, his new coordinator, kind of coming in and trying to get these things going. We'll see. Stay tuned. I'm not afraid of him as an Arizona Cardinals fan. I'll tell you that much. Thank God they got worse. Also, thank God the Rams got worse. Matt Stafford, love you, Matt. All good. Shocked Rip and I thought you were going to the Browns. I think Rip thought you were headed directly to the Giants. No, you called it right. Stay in LA. Devontae Adams, though. So Cooper's out of here. Devontae comes to town. LA. 46 mil for Devontae Adams. Reunite him with Matt Stafford. Is that a reunited? Did they ever play together? They never played together.
No, Adams wasn't on the Lions. Come on, DK.
Yeah, I feel like Adams has been everywhere. Anyway, I feel like he's washed up as well, too. So, Rams, better or worse than the Cardinals?
Oh, 100% better. I mean, their situation, their players, their personnel, their coach. I mean, everything's better. The organization as a whole. You see the rankings again. The Cardinals are dead last in organization rankings based on the players' vote.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, the Rams.
I hate that. I hate when that comes out, and I see that every year. Bidwell, the worst. At least the Cardinals didn't sign Justin Fields. What do you think about Justin Fields? Does that surprise you at all? To the Jets, 40 mil?
Probably not a real quarterback, but better than some options out there, I guess. I mean, the state of quarterbacks in the league is so poor at this point. You have to call Justin Fields a top 18 quarterback. So probably worth the $20 million a year based on what everyone else is getting.
I need to go through the list of the available free agents because really the other bigger names I can even think of. I saw that Ronnie Staley decided to stay with the Ravens. Everybody was looking for him. 60 mil. So great money for the linemen. Linemen stand up, big boys stand up. Talked about DK Metcalf traded to the Steelers, but they need a quarterback. They went out and signed dynamic quarterback Kenny Pickett, Super Bowl winner Kenny Pickett. I mean, what's realistic here? There is a lot of people talking in our world, Rip. I'm hearing a lot of Kyler Murray trade rumors to Pittsburgh. It's a real conversation. I think they don't want to do the Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson game over there. Basically have old men assholes in your locker room who fucking think they know everything and don't know anything while their bodies break down pretty much. But who's DJ and George getting the ball from?
I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, man. The Steelers have a long history of making, I'd say, smart quarterback decisions, but I think they're about to make a dumb one, and Aaron Rodgers is going to talk them into signing him to a 2-year deal. It's coming this week. I feel it.
You're pretty good. You're pretty good at these guesses. We played this game before. They're going to need a quarterback who can, get the ball to these guys, and they'll have a scary offense. Things are happening once again if they can figure out that piece. It's an important piece. Save that too, because I have a theory on modeling of the new models that these teams are going for. We're seeing it happen and form right now as the new model for success in the NFL. And guess who's not following that model one bit? Our Arizona Cardinals. Rip. Free agency. Josh Sweat, an edge rusher. Hand clap. I know we like him. Maybe overpaid a little bit, $76 million. He's coming off a Super Bowl win with the Eagles, though. He gets back with Jonathan Gannon. You like that, Rip? I watched a good amount of YouTube tape on him because I couldn't sleep a couple nights ago, and I was up, watching edge rusher tape. And what he does well is kind of bounce off of players, but he's not an overpowering guy. Difference maker for the Cardinals defense?
I think that's a TBD, but to me, the big win right there is something you mentioned. It's the fact that Jonathan Gannon was a really good offensive coordinator in Philly, and he used Josh Sweat to his strengths. He played to his strengths. And the fact that he believes in him enough to bring him back now that he's a head coach in Arizona, I think is huge. It's putting a lot of faith in a guy that he knows can perform well for them. So I think it's a win. The Cardinals have a history of not spending their money. I'm just glad they're spending it at this point.
Yep. Opening some marketing avenues. I know the Cardinals and the Bidwells suck at marketing, but Sweat as just a last name works in football, I think, all over the place. So congratulations on the partnerships and money development teams on the business side of the Cardinals. Other signings you may not exciting, Rip, but I'm excited. Evan Brown re-signed. Browning re-signed. Joey Blunt, also great jersey. Cannabis legal in Arizona. Joey Blunt, safety. I mean, great opportunity to just make some money. Bedwells, we got to get better in those coaching polls. We need to upgrade the facility. It's probably time to get out of Tempe. I'm not sure. Turn that into a YMCA. Open it up to the public. Probably time to turn the page. The D- in the coaching polls. But Joey Blunt and Josh Sweat, opportunity to market. So things are happening there. I did mention Kyler Murray. Screw it, Rip. We don't have a guest. I'll over talk it because this is what I do, baby. Some speculation I mentioned. Any scenarios where you want to hear the speculation, or do you even care?
I do not care.
You don't even care at all about this. It's real. I think I'm hearing rumblings on my side that Kyler Murray's not going to make it through the month of. He won't make it through March Madness. Potential suitors: New York Giants. Let's throw it out there. Colts made a signing today, but they're a mess. They might be packaging. We might be looking at a Richardson in a Cardinals jersey, Rip. Just relax. But then the Pittsburgh Steelers have been mentioned as well to pair him with DK Metcalf. Here's the deal. It has to happen before June 1st if it does happen, because the Cardinals get a big old $30 million dead cap hit. So got to make it happen. And their stance is, we heard from Monty. He already gave the kiss of death. He came out to the press and indicated, guess what? We're planning to build around Murray. Once that starts happening, get ready for things to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Anthony Richardson, if the Colts end up making a deal and we get a lot of draft picks and get younger. Just throwing it out there. It's what I do on this podcast. Did you like anything that I mentioned there? You still believe Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and Kyler Murray Rip to the playoffs? You believe?
Absolutely not. I think the correct move for Kyler would be to opt out of football entirely and try his hand at baseball while he's still young. He was a first-round draft pick of the Oakland A's, who, by the way, are going to be the surprise team of Major League Baseball this year. So if he wants to get on a team that's on the rise, not the Arizona Cardinals, he needs to move sports and go back to the A's and jump on that ship while he still can.
The Raiders got to stabilize at QB too. That would be funny. That would be hilarious. I mean, Aiden O'Connell and Desmond Ridder, current options. So they're going to have to stabilize somewhere in there. I really wanted to make a move for some defensive help there. Who knows? I can tell you one thing, though. We got to be better in Arizona. Really pathetic. I wouldn't buy season tickets until the bid will sell. I think we're in a Chicago Bears situation. First year of things really changing in Chicago. See if it works. They need a new building. We just need to get better at becoming a place that free agents want to come to. And this is a great example. We got one. We grabbed one. Who's left, Rip? Anybody on the list that you still want?
It's really a lot of big names, but a lot of also really old guys. We're talking Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs. We're talking DeAndre Hopkins. A lot of wide receivers here. Keenan Allen, quarterback Russell Wilson, defensive end Von Miller, Zadarius Smith, Joey Bosa. A lot of big names. Calais Campbell. Still
A bunch of future podcasters, man. Those are
For
a bunch
sure.
of olds.
DeMarcus Lawrence, Darius Slay, Stephon Gilmore. So if you can choose the right two out of them, be my guest. But yeah, at this point, the Cardinals are just going to have to do it through the draft, I think.
I wouldn't mind a Keenan Allen for third down, but he's slowed down. Yeah, those guys are all past their prime. I love them all, Rip. I want all those jerseys. Great humans. Just not. That's what we've been shown. We've been shown that the athletes and the youth are what we're trending towards in the NFL. I mentioned that model. Before we get to our one-star Rex of the week, quick model that's just very obvious to me, Rip. I think you're seeing it too. The trend that we're seeing, we talked about it a little bit, but this free agency period has really hammered it into us. And you can look at the Bears, the Commanders, the Patriots. What you do is you capitalize on those young quarterbacks' rookie contracts and then spend money. If that young quarterback has it, which the Commanders, for instance, have it. They traded for Laramie Tunsil. They grabbed Debo. They're spending, right? They're like, oh, shit, we can bolster. So those two deals, $35 million. What did Sam Darnold just make? He's making $33 million. So you see what I'm saying, Rip? The rookie deals allow you to go out and spend. The Bears invested, I think, almost $100 million in defensive linemen. bro. And offensive guards, like we got the guy. Let's invest now while we can for 2 more years and make a run. Or you end up in Brock Purdy purgatory or the Kyler Murray conundrum that we're in. It's no fun to pay a mid quarterback and take away their options. You know, it was fun for you, San Francisco 49ers, for the last 5 years. Rip, every offseason, they're signing 5 or 6 guys, you know, and it's because of Brock Purdy allowing them to do that. Welcome to quarterback purgatory hell with Arizona Cardinals fans, Niners fans. Come on inside. The water's warm. You agree, Rip? The new model is pretty obvious. This is draft and find the best possible QB, hope and pray he can have a good rookie season, and then build as quick as you can and hope and pray again. Doesn't seem that sustainable, but that seems to be what's happening.
I think it works for one team, and the Commanders are that team right now. But if you look at the Final Four of the NFL playoffs last year, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, Commanders, 3 out of those 4 teams have really high paid quarterbacks who happen to be probably the best 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. So 3 out of those 4 teams do not have that model. So I think it could work both ways. But right now, the Commanders have no other choice because Jaden Daniels is a top 10 quarterback and he is on his rookie contract. So I think they're doing it the right way. He'll be highly paid in a few years. That's for sure.
Bears and Patriots will be the ones to watch next year. What the fuck, Patriots? Find yourself a receiver. Surprised they didn't make a run at Metcalf. Cool, Rip. Good NFL talk. Hey, 1-star bump. Arkansas Razorbacks basketball after having Malik Thomas on last week. Nice little Arkansas run. Started 0-5 in conference play, Rip. Crawling their way back in, especially after we hyped them up last week, which was so much fun. John Calipari, though, you know, first-year turnaround. We're seeing it happen. This is what's happened. Patino's doing it up in St. John's. Our guy Calipari's doing it. Bubble status. Our guy, 1-star recruit alum, Joey Lenardi, has the Razorback as the number 10 seed, Rip, in the Midwest region. You in? Is this going to happen? Is this run happening?
It's going to happen. They're not going to keep Coach Cal out of the tournament, provided they beat South Carolina tonight in the first round of the SEC tournament. I think they're locked for the NCAAs. If they get blown out by South Carolina, it could be a different story, but that's a game that they should win, even though they just got demolished by them a couple weeks ago. Now that it's tourney time, I think they'll step it up a little bit, and we'll see the Razorbacks. Probably, honestly, don't count them out in the NCAA tourney to get to at least the Sweet 16 this year.
Coaching is so important in this tournament. It's so true. And he has the athletes to do it. A little bit of a twist of fate, Rip. The bracketology suggests that Arkansas could face Kansas, perhaps, and they got to get through South Carolina. We'll watch that game. Kansas, guess where, Rip? Lexington, Rupp Arena. If that happens, of course, that's the way they want to set it up. The NCAA gods of decision making up in there. Dude, we'll see. Could get exciting for Arkansas. Stay tuned. 1-star moment of the week. Everybody has them. We talk about them. Rip, go ahead, my man. What's your 1-star moment?
Mine's a little bit of a history lesson here. I don't know if you realize, DK, but 5 years ago this week, today, Tuesday, March 11th, is the day that will forever be known as the Rudy Gobert game. The day that Rudy Gobert basically ruined the world. I'll always remember it as that. 5 years ago today, the Jazz Thunder game got canceled because Rudy Gobert got the coronavirus, COVID-19. One of the first high-profile people to get the virus. And from there, it was all downhill. The whole world shut down, as we know. And it seems like way longer ago, but it's also hard to not remember a time where everyone was wearing masks and shelter in place and all that stuff. Only 5 years ago, DK, but it was this week. So time flies, but the one constant is that Rudy Gobert is an asshole.
1-star moment for me, Rip. Okay. This one's a little embarrassing, but this is just a bad streak. I'm going to break this streak or think of other options, but the streak has to end because it's on 2 times in a row. So 2 times in a row on Fridays, Thursdays, and sometimes Fridays. I'll take my dogs to this park, Washington Square Park, to really get them out, let them run around quite a bit. It's older age, a combination of older age. I've been drinking more liquids in the morning. In particular, water, trying to get in these, 8 gallons a day or whatever you're supposed to be drinking. And I've been drinking more, but I'm also getting older, and I can't hold my pee as long. What's your average pee length time in the morning, Rip? Are you going 2 hours, 3 hours?
I'd say about 2 to 3, right in between that little window.
Do you feel like there's a power hour of consistency in the morning ever that you just can't get around no matter what, or it's variable, it's dynamic?
I mean, right when I wake up is 100% chance of peeing because I don't wake up in the middle of the night. I'm
Right.
not
Once
that
you wake
old
up and
yet.
then after that, is another consistent? Do you have another consistent, or that's just could be a dice roll?
Probably within a window, I'd say of 2 to 3 hours right there.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too. So anyway, I've recognized my window is there, and I have a number two window right after that, about an hour later, right around the 10 a.m. hour block. Nevertheless, take my animals to this walk in the morning. It's great. I always say before to myself, I should go to the bathroom before. I did it these 2 days in a row. But we get up in there, it's deep in the forest. It's in these back areas, not deep in the forest, but it's like a park and a forest. It feels like a forest. And these both 2 days, I had to pee so bad that I had to go. So I respectfully went off the trail into the area with the trees. Pulled the dogs there. They're pulling away from me, obviously. Make look around. Nobody for like it feels like I'm in Antarctica. Nobody for miles. Both days in a row, within about 8 to 11 seconds of pee stream, which is towards the end, so it's not the worst scenario. It's not like a beginning. Walkers. People are turn the corners like White Walkers, like a zombie movie. Like I swear to God, the universe is telling me to stop doing this. Like stop. So 1 star moment, twice stopping stream, moving location, like fast, weird walk, run, walk away, then feeling bad, then questioning peeing in park and like indecent exposure laws, and like then questioning what am I even doing? All to rush home to go finish my business. So 1 star moment, 2 times. Like maybe I'm not surveying the land well enough before I do a public pee. Are you doing public pisses at 47, Rip?
Most times I do them like on a road trip in a remote area of
Dog
California,
walks.
off to the side of the
Any
road.
recent
No,
dog
it's
walks,
too
perhaps?
risky. I'm going somewhere where no one can find me at this age in our 40s. It's borderline criminal and very creepy to do that. And I think the risk way more than outweighs the reward. So yeah, especially when you look
So
like yourself with your haircut and your beard and borderline non-housed, I would say in Portland.
easy.
I think you could probably get called the cops on pretty easily up there.
So if you see a bro, it's clearly a bro, not a homeless Rip. He's clearly a bro walking his dogs and just like had to take a piss. Maybe it was like you're drinking some beers at the house, walk the dogs, you gotta take a piss, just can't hold it. Fully getting judged by you as a creep weirdo immediately, not even a chance to stand up for himself.
Actually, let me rephrase that because I know Portland's a lot more liberal and progressive, quote unquote, progressive than other cities. So it may be very normalized there. I think one of your first quotes, one of your first observation was that the entire downtown smelled like urine. So it could be normal there.
And it was in the forest. I got to survey better. I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever be a public. I don't want to do public peas, man. I watched what friend of the pod, our guy Nick B, at one point spent a night in prison on, not prison in jail, on Halloween night, dressed as a chef for doing a public pee. I knew at that moment I never wanted to be a public peer, and here I am. So this is the universe telling me, and I'm sharing it on this great show. Here you go, world. And I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed and I'm gonna stop doing it, man. The streak's over. 1 star moment. Embarrassed.
Gotta love Nick B fulfilling some prisoner's fantasy on Halloween night dressed as a chef in the cell there. Good. Props to you,
Man.
Nick B, Flagstaff, Arizona.
Coconino County, man. What a run. 1 star recommendation of the week. Quick recommendation for me. It's food. I know I've led this podcast talking about food. Some might have heard my day last Wednesday, and thought, hey, that's just a normal day in the life. You know, that's not even too crazy what DK did. Respect to all you guys out there. You guys real life livers. Not like Rip here. You know, I know you eat like a bird, bro, anyway, so you don't even understand this. And I know you don't even appreciate a lot of my Rex of the week, okay? I couldn't believe that Peking duck struck a chord. And then I remembered you spent time like Mao in China. So it connected with you. Otherwise, you would have not even listened. You would have been thinking about Little League. So I'm gonna try to connect again. You ready? Rip, what ethnicity are you? 23 and me.
Mostly German, some Italian.
Let's go. Recommendation of the week then. It's gonna hit. This is gonna land. Otto's and Anita's Schnitzel House. Big Rip. Well, one more time. Otto and Anita's Schnitzel House in Portland. So this week's recommendation comes from. So I had a family meetup with a family member, and it turned into just a culinary rediscovery for your boy, just like Peking duck. I lost it for a little bit, then I found it again. So after connecting with my long lost cousin Ed, who is 90, but great, wonderful guy. Big forced lunch by my father to team up with an old cousin of his, Big Ed. But dude, I found a Schnitzel house by his house, picked him up. It's been about 10 years since I have had German food. This spot was bomb, Rip. I had a traditional schnitzel. I had a cup of their famous dill pickle soup and dessert, a Marionberry cheesecake. Fucking chef's kiss, wonderful. And so there's your friendly reminder. Find a schnitzel house near you and get some German flavors back in your life. There you go.
I heard from a little bird, a long lost cousin, that you had some digestive issues later that day. Are you still going forward with the recommendation despite what happened
That's the
in
risk
the
when you
ensuing
do.
hours?
That's the risk when you reintroduce a food that has not been in your life in a long time. It's not smooth sailing, Rip. It's something like an Einstein's to Arby's transition. We're used to that. We're fat Americans. That's a clean transition. I went from dill pickle soup to spatzel to currywurst to liver and onions. Rip, okay? Doesn't mean it wasn't delicious. Just means it was an interesting run. I couldn't even have Black Forest cake after I wanted it. I had to take my soft pretzel home because my stomach was rumbling. But this is just what happens when you shift your perspective, when you open up your third eye, when you go try different types of food, Rip. You're gonna try schnitzel.
I'll stick to the soft pretzels and I'll DoorDash you some baby wipes later on today. So
The world is shocked that you never do get food delivery, Rip, at all. How many times in your life have you got done food delivery? Total.
oh, in my life, I mean, even before DoorDash, there's a lot of pizza deliveries. I
No,
can't
no,
believe it.
not pizza deliveries like a third party app, like a
No, you
Uber
know what I
Eats.
used to do? Here's the true value guy is back in the day, Domino's had the 30-minute guarantee. If they did not deliver your pizza within 30 minutes of ordering, then you'd get it for free. So I used to test them all the time at like busy times, and there were several times where I got the pizza free. So that's an old school value
That
guy
made
tip.
people know about that. You actually held them true to that though for the free. You know they took that from the driver's money.
Yeah, I was in college. I probably needed the money more than they did, to be honest, but I would not do that today. There's a reason that policy probably
God,
doesn't exist
what an
anymore.
asshole! See, everybody thinks Rip's a good guy. Rip also used to call into the 9 o'clock call on the local hip hop station in Arizona and do the 9 o'clock call freestyle. Which right now, Rip, listen up. Go ahead, give him a little hitter. Listen up, y'all. Listen to 9 o'clock call. That's how it started. Listen, Rip used to hop in like this. Listen up, y'all. Listen to 9 o'clock call. Go ahead, Rip.
I have no idea what you're talking about. My one star recommendation of the week is it's a little dark this week, but actually a really good watch on Netflix. We haven't gone down the Netflix well in a while, DK, but it's the Gabby Petito documentary, who was the woman who was murdered by her boyfriend and they were on a trip in Utah, a van life. I think they had a vlog going, and I think it's a 3-part documentary. I wanted to watch it like in parts, but my wife made me. It was so captivating that we watched the thing in one entire night. Got to bed at like 11:49 that night. It's a very one-star moment right there, but. Yeah, I think it's called An American Murder, the Gabby Petito documentary. I don't know if you remember, but that case kind of captivated the nation for a few weeks back in 2020, I think. So a good watch on Netflix, very dark, but some people like that stuff. So one-star rec of the week right there.
Back to the Netflix well. Yeah, you and your wifey are very basic Netflix watchers. You're like a train and mistrain. You guys all watch all the same shit up there. Not me, Rip. Catch me down watching the Boston Celtics documentary. Okay, in my man cave. I watch what I want.
Oh
Watching
yeah,
these
well,
crime dramas getting dragged into that shit, Rip. Not for me. That's it. Fuck off. Rips reacts. Hit the music. Currywurst. Do you like any German food? Have you had any German food that you like that you remember in your whole life?
Soft pretzels for the win and
Yeah.
beer. I mean, 1,000%. The two most famous German foods.
Yeah, those are the two best, probably the two best things. But the schnitzel is good. It's just like a chicken. It's a chicken or pork cutlet, essentially, with gravy.
Big fan of sausage too. 100% sausage.
He likes the sausage. He likes the sausage. The Baltimore Orioles unveiled their bold, all orange tops and orange bottoms, full pants uniforms. Rip. So maybe a little extra edge this season. Fun way to get the fans excited about it. Rip, do new uniforms equal more actual success for the teams? Or is traditional where it's at? You're respected. It's not a gimmick. Respect. Or like, let's have 27 different uniforms. Does it fuck with you?
There's no clear answer on that because it really depends on the uniform. If you go Oregon style and go with the 27 different uniforms, probably 10 of them are going to be fly and the 17 other ones are just going to be amp. But those orange ones from the Orioles are 5-star all the way. I saw somewhere that they haven't been worn since the 1950s, which is incredible to me because it's so
Not
simple.
true.
It's basically one color.
Not true.
Those are awesome.
Fake news right there. Rip's getting that fake news right there. Those bad boys were rocked as recently as 2010. Shout out to our guy Luke Scott. Fucking just in case we have any Baltimore Orioles fans, Rip's just disrespected. I do not want to disrespect Jim Palmer. Rip thinks he's a baseball guy in 1971. Do not want to disrespect Dave McNally, also part of that 1971 pitching staff. So our baseball guy clearly missed that one, but I do agree.
50 years ago, not 1950s. My fault. 50 years ago is 1970s. There you go.
Deal. You had Pat Dobson spinning in his grave right there. 20-game winner. All orange uniforms. I think they're super fly though too, Rip. No disrespect. Maybe a little disrespect right here by the Texas Rangers though. New era. Took a big swing and a miss here when they accidentally spelled a vulgar Spanish word on one of their hats. So they did these overlap hats, Rip. Dude, you're in the baseball game. Your kids like hats. 2025 overlap new feature hats. They featured the T logo for Texas, and then it forms the Spanish slang, ends up being tetas, okay? Tetas. And if you know what that means tatas, boobies, Rip. And so the design actually made it all the way through fucking, the people who are supposed to catch that, which is crazy to me. So now, bro, it lives in lore with the 2024 Oakland ass hat. Ass when they did the same thing but as Oakland A's with multiple S's, Oakland ass. So question for you, my man, at our age, can we pull off 43? Can we pull off a Texas Tetes hat or an Oakland ass hat? Like, would you wake up in the morning and slap on your Oakland ass hat ever?
100%. I think our guy Train would too, for sure, especially if you're an A's fan. I think it was an honest mistake, the Texas thing. I know a lot of Spanish cuss words, but I did not know that one. It actually, tits is the translation according to Google, but I think it was an honest mistake that just got through the channels because no one actually knew what it meant, but probably a collector's item right now.
Collector's item. If you're at that Millennial Tour, you saw Omarion came out with his tetas out, flapping away. Tetas. It's a good word. I think if you have that hat, it's like getting I wouldn't wear it, but I wouldn't have it in my collection because a couple podcasts ago, obviously, I made a new rule and I have no connection. I have no connection to the Texas Rangers. I do have connections to Tetas, though, so that's confusing. I have to think about that one.
It feels like something a grandpa would wear on like Bourbon Street just to like an old man joke or something.
We might blow up the Tetas hat if you could get your hands on it. That might be a $300 hat pretty soon.
500level.com. Tetas.
Dude, staying on baseball. Can the Yankees still compete for a World Series after losing Garrett Cole to Tommy John surgery? He's out. Usually when this happens with starting lineups, pitching is done. Season's done.
I think they can. You never give up on the Yankees. Their offense is incredible. They signed Max Fried, who was one of the top free agent pitchers this offseason. They have a rookie coming up, Will Warren, I believe his name is. So the Yankees always have reinforcements. They will find a way to be in that playoff mix come September.
Hate the Yankees. Love it that the shaving rules over though now, Rip. They can now wear facial hair. Is that exciting? Anybody at Little League talk about this stuff? Are you talking about this at Little League in your board meetings?
No, there's way too important business to talk about, DK, like who is preparing the fields for opening day and why, when the play is dead, is the pitcher back on the rubber? Stop bringing up Little League. It's over.
We're losing our listeners. Rip, how will Steph Curry's new role as Davidson's assistant GM and his 8-figure NIL fund impact college basketball? Is this move by Stephen Curry actually gonna move the basketball bubble for Davidson? Is this a game changer? Are we gonna see Davidson in the tournament moving forward consistently?
I think it will be a game changer for a mid-major program like that. And I think fellow small school NBA superstars like Damian Lillard should take note and follow suit, because it's the only way to get these programs up to the par of some of these power conference schools is to bring those big names back and bring the money in from the donors. And that's the only way you're going to do it. So I think it's a great move. I don't know how much time he'll have to put into it between now and the end of June, when the Warriors are in the NBA Finals, but he'll get some time in the offseason. I think it'll do well for them.
I put you in the mix I submitted your resume for the Arkansas Razorbacks GM for their athletics department, Rip. People want you. People want you. You've done really good with nicknames. You've done phenomenally well in the past with naming rights, one of the best that I've ever heard in the history of naming rights for stadiums with a lot of ADs. I mean, a lot of W's for you. Penn State. Beaver Stadium actually recently went through naming rights deal with West Shore Home Field. Okay? So here's the question. Last year we did help a handful of ADs brainstorm a ton of naming right partners. Even though this one is lame, Rip, is this it? Now we're going to start seeing these schools follow suit. We just needed one to break through. Penn State breakthrough. We're going away from Beaver Stadium to West Shore Home Field, presented by Beaver Stadium. It looks like, holy shit, what a mess.
I think it is the first in a long line of these stadiums being renamed, but I think the better ones will come with the more recognizable companies, like the ones we suggest: Chipotle's, Raising Cane's Field, all that kind of stuff. No one wants to hear the name of another bank. It's been done over and over. It's boring. No one even knows what that bank is outside of probably State College, Pennsylvania. Clearly, they're just in it for the payday, but I think they could have done a lot better. Do better, Nittany Lions. Do better. You know what would be fun? Just a fun game. You'd have to pick your naming rights partner in the relation to what your mascot is. So the Lions, you'd have to stay within the realms of a zoo, perhaps, or a safari company, or a safari booking company. The Sun Devils, you'd have to do maybe, devil worshippers, perhaps. Not a great network for money. But everybody has to play in the parameters. I mean, Oregon Ducks could go a lot of places. You could get the duck call things from the Duck Brothers. Could be a great idea. Could even the playing field. You can only do naming rights with something that represents your mascot and the industry that your mascot would reside in. How about that? So where does Pornhub Field come into that? Who do we got for Beaver Stadium? Pornhub Field? Beaver?
Possibly. That's a stretch. It's like my hat question. Can I tie it together to being a part of a thing? It'd have to be policed a little bit more. Just trying to even this thing out, get it all settled down a little bit. Speaking of, Rip, I do have an expert guy that I want to bring on the podcast, who's one of the leaders in the NIL stuff. He just got the Texas A&M deal done, doing some LSU stuff. The timing's right. Next time we have a college athlete or coach on, I want to bring this guy John on as well. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for Beaver Stadium. Beaver Stadium ideas coming. All kinds of stuff. Joe Paterno out. Beavers are in. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.